Welcome to the Growth Fire Podcast, where we engage with top business leaders who share their experiences and provide real insights that help them attract customers, retain staff, and grow their bottom line. Now, let's get started with the show.
Hi there, I'm Kevin Horrigan, host of the show, where I feature inspiring business leaders from various backgrounds and industries who are willing to share their stories and insights. Today's podcast is brought to you by Spinutech. So Danielle, at Spinutech, we help middle market and larger companies get more leads. Danielle, who doesn't want more leads? At Spinutech, we take an end-to-end digital approach, starting with your website and making sure it has the right aesthetic appeal and convincing content to convert your visitors into action. And then we look through all your digital marketing tactics, such as search engine optimization, paid search, organics and paid social, email marketing, and more. With the correct website and optimized digital marketing campaigns in place, we help our clients grow. Danielle and anyone else, to learn more, go to www.spinutech.com. That's spin, the letter U, tech.com. Well, today's guest is Danielle Paige, Chief Marketing and Growth Officer of Nixon Peabody. Danielle's main focus is brand strategy that combines data and insights through marketing automation, exceptional client engagement, and creativity while ensuring that marketing drives productivity, innovation, performance, and competitive advantage. At Nixon Peabody, Danielle leverages more than 20 years of corporate and agency experience. She helps their attorneys and professional colleagues identify and pursue growth opportunities across geographies and practice areas. With her team, they build strategies to unify teams, drive deeper engagement with their clients, and position Nixon Peabody for continued growth. Danielle, welcome to the Growth Fire Podcast.
Thanks, Kevin. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, Danielle, I wanted to give a shout out to one of your coworkers and teammates, Nick Brody, Director of Media Relations at Nixon Peabody, for helping us organize this today. He's been amazing. Just want to give a shout out to Nick. He's great.
Thank you so much. I could not be here today or really probably function without great colleagues like Nick.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Thank you. Danielle, tell us a little about yourself. Where did you grow up? What did you study in school? What did little Danielle want to do when she joined the professional world?
Well, again, thank you so much. It's great to be on the podcast. I absolutely appreciate the platform and the opportunity. So I was born and raised in Massachusetts. I'm based here now in a little town north of the city, so right on the ocean. So it's really lovely.
Nice.
I've traveled extensively around the world, both for work and sort of personal reasons. I went to the University of Massachusetts at Amherst for undergrad, studied political science and Italian. And I have an MBA in marketing and strategy from Suffolk University. I'm married with two great adult stepkids who are living their best lives. And we have two French bulldogs right now, Hugo and Margot. So my life is pretty rich personally. But if I think about it, probably like a lot of, little girls, I wanted to be a ballet dancer or a movie star. But, really, by the time I was in high school, I had my sights set on law school after undergrad, which I still find pretty ironic. Ultimately, I didn't go that route after studying abroad and sort of being excited to be out in the world beyond college. But the universe has landed me here at a law firm at this stage of my career. And it's really a career highlight for me so far.
Yeah, let's talk about this career highlight. So, you grew up in the area that you live in today, but you studied abroad, traveled a lot.
Yeah.
As a young girl, you thought maybe you're going to be a lawyer. You're now, head of chief growth officer at a law firm.
Yeah.
Tell us about the journey there in between. There's a lot of stuff in there that got you where you're at today. Tell us a little bit about, what were the steps in your career and how did you become the chief growth officer at a law firm after maybe wanting to be in law originally?
Yeah, such a good question. So when I, left undergrad, the environment at the time was, was really sort of a booming technology environment. I'm somebody who has always felt like language comes really easy. It's a bit second nature. So the idea of working in a technology company at that period of time really sort of felt like learning a new language. So it was super, super exciting. And I had a real natural propensity toward marketing and sales and kind of business development. And me at 23 it was probably just a more naive version of who I am, today, almost at 50, unafraid, and I wanted to take on a lot of challenges. So at that point, I started my career in a place where I think so many people should start, which is sales and account management and marketing.
Yeah.
What it does is it gives you this sort of tremendous foundation for understanding the foundation and fundamentals of business, of relationship building, really what drives growth over the long term. And as much as people think you don't sell throughout your career, I think the higher that you get in any organization, the more you're selling day in and day out. So started in sales. Over time, I really sort of leaned into the marketing discipline a bit more. Went to a consulting firm where I spent some time really kind of honing my writing skills and my ability to dissect really complex topics. Spent, call it 4 or 5 years there. And then I was recruited into big creative agency. Spent the better part of almost 20 years at both an Omnicom agency and a Publicis agency, running a variety of, sort of different clients. So just to give you a sense, the business model at a law firm and at a creative agency are exactly the same. So
Yes.
you come in as an individual contributor, so you have to, service accounts or clients. You grow that to a little group, and then that becomes a small practice that becomes a larger practice, and so on and so on. So, over the course of my career, I was really fortunate to be successful in growth, and that gave me the chance to have leadership positions across an agency. By the time I made the decision to leave, I joke and I say, I was in such a great place that I could, be in yoga pants in my backyard working from home before that was a thing.
Right.
So, I took a little time off and said, I'm not going to take another big job. And, Nixon, a recruiter from Nixon got in touch with me. And over the course of several months, I became kind of enamored with this idea of, what was happening in legal and the opportunity for marketers. So I've been here just shy now of 6 years. And, absolutely, Kevin, I can say unequivocally that it's totally a career highlight.
Yeah. So super interesting background, and being an agency owner myself and working on the agency side. And I appreciate the parallel you said about the professional services, whether it be a law firm or an accounting firm or an agency, have a very similar parallels as how things work. And you start a skill area, it becomes a practice area, you grow it. Absolutely. Whether that be in law or an advertising or an accounting, absolutely. As you got recruited to this role 6 years ago, coming from the agency side, going to work for a private sector brand, as we call it, from the advertising world, did this role exist before you got there, or was this a new role to the law firm?
Oh, that's a great question. So the CMO role existed. One of the things that we sort of laugh about now, as I said through the interview process, you definitely don't want to hire me. I'm not going to be right for this job. You need somebody a little bit more traditional. And I had a perception of what it would be to be a CMO in a law firm. And I thought probably a little bit too restrictive, not experimental enough. Probably I wouldn't have enough autonomy. And they said, we are looking for a leader who can be transformational, who can help us, really evolve from a marketing sophistication standpoint. And, I think without totally knowing it, they needed a people leader.
Yes.
So while the job description said one thing when I started in 2019, what I do today is probably really pretty different than what they might have originally been hiring for.
Yeah,
But I love that. I love that.
I love the story too. And your title isn't chief marketing officer anymore. It's leading marketing and growth and stuff of that nature too.
That's correct. Yeah.
I think open and honest, it was probably a little bit of a loaded question, because I guess the answer was going to be kind of as you shared with it. But I want to double click on that a little bit, Danielle. I think stereotypically, from an advertiser's perspective, stereotypically, marketing at a law firm may not be the top vertical that creative marketers want to get into. What have you learned that you found is rewarding about doing what you're doing, working for a law firm, which typically, marketers may find as an area that does have those restrictions, as you were mentioning you were concerned about?
Yeah, it's also a great question, and certainly I think a misconception that I had prior to being in this environment. I'm also at heart not a consumer marketer. I have been in B2B for my entire career, so I'm really drawn to the complexity that professional services and businesses face on the day to day. So I think I approach marketing it from a different perspective. Not to say that every client at their core is not a consumer, because they are, and
Sure.
they are influenced by consumer marketing in their life all day long. But, truly, I think the legal industry is one of the most fascinating industries to work in as a marketer. In the past, marketing in legal has had its limitations, but today it's really a strategic value driver for law firms. So not only are we focused on impacting really like every step in that client journey, but the marketer's ability to differentiate the firm, the practice, the partner, really gives us an opportunity to have a direct and material impact on success. So we have this, unique and valuable business skill set in a law firm that no one else has. And I truly believe it's earned its place at the highest levels of leadership.
Wow, that's a very powerful statement there. It's great to hear. And I'm going to have that cascade into my next question. So, who's the ideal customer profile of Nixon Peabody, and how do you attract those people to consider hiring Nixon Peabody as their law firm?
If I can't answer this question, I should pack my office right now and go home.
I have a feeling you can answer it.
Yeah. So Nixon, just for those who don't know, serves a really broad range of clients across transactional and litigation matters. From our private clients practice that focuses on estate planning and wealth management for a broad range of individuals, families, family offices, to our transactional practices. Those are really focused on helping companies navigate the complexity of their business, and whether that's at founding or funding, M&A, bankruptcy, and really everywhere in between. Nixon also has a renowned affordable housing practice and clients that cut across public and private sector and commercial real estate and finance spectrum.
Okay.
Just to give you a sense from a litigation standpoint, our practice serves a real wide range of clients in complex commercial disputes, government investigations and white collar defense, intellectual property, and a wide variety of labor and employment issues.
Wow.
Because of the diversity of the clients that we serve at the firm, we take a pretty holistic approach to managing the client journey. So, of course, right, we manage awareness at the brand level. But establishing value in the legal sector is so deeply anchored in reputation. Yeah. And that varies practice by practice and partner by partner. So each of our practices in the firm's portfolio requires a different approach to client engagement, to awareness building, and beyond. But I am constantly looking across channels to leverage the right mix of tactics to reach and engage clients with messages at the right time to build relationships. I think our paramount responsibility as a law firm is to build and maintain trusted relationships with our clients in the industries where our clients exist and broadly within our own ecosystem. So if we're not developing that reputation for being trusted, then I'm not doing my job as a marketer.
I'm going to ask you, it might not be an easy question. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but it's an interesting question. It's a question I have. If you were to be able to take, when taking time, media dollars, what percentage of your overall investments, time, dollars, resources, things of that nature, what goes to media, maybe what goes to thought leadership, maybe what goes to events, maybe what goes to brand? I'm putting those as just examples, but maybe
Yeah,
say
sure.
a quarter goes here, a third goes here, but maybe just kind of an idea of how you allocate dollar, maybe how you had, and then maybe I guess a follow-up question, maybe where you see that pivoting.
Yeah, God, it's such a good question. I think when I arrived at the firm, there was no real discipline around managing marketing resources to align specifically with our strategic intention.
Sure.
And we have become, sort of masters at that now. So we manage the firm from a strategic plan that's, is not just the vision of where we want to go, but sets priorities and initiatives. And we are shifting our marketing resources, spend, and management to align with that and our
Right.
performance specifically. So, for example, in 2024, we invested a more significant portion of our resources into formalized client engagement efforts. And those run the spectrum of client listening and feedback, research and analysis, building trainings to help us as a firm be better, sort of be better client partners, to listen
Right.
to and react to our clients in a more effective way. So the spend initially in 24, kicking off those programs, is going to be, higher than it will be probably in 25, because we are now in an action-oriented space where we
Yep.
don't have to execute those programs.
Okay.
3 years ago, now probably 4, we did a rebrand. So or a brand refresh. So the spend relative to our visual identity, to a refresh of, who we are, our brand architecture, our website, that was a tremendous investment at that time.
Yep.
So I don't want to say that it's prescriptive, because I think I look at the year ahead. I try to do that with really fresh eyes,
Yes.
align that to our needs of the day, and adjust our resources accordingly. I am steward of the spend, of the marketing spend, and I never
Right.
want to be in a situation where our partnership says this is a cost center for us that isn't worth it. So
Yeah.
for me, I'm always in this position where I'm thinking about how marketing delivers value in a material way back to the partnership, back to the company, back to our clients. So I
And
know that wasn't like as specific as you wanted it, but it's about being really dynamic in resource management.
yeah, but I think the punchline at the end there was really, really a great punchline at the end. What I heard you say, and you didn't say exactly this way, but you don't want marketing to be viewed as an expense. You want to make it as an investment that has a great return on investment. And
Yeah, that's correct.
there's an old saying, expenses get cut, investments get made, right? And so
Yeah, absolutely.
I think what I heard you, my takeaway, and hopefully the audience takeaway value is continuing to make sure that the investment, regardless of what channel, what investment of resources, investment of dollars, it's an investment that's aligned to the strategic goals of where the firm is trying to go, and not viewed one day as an expense that the partners feel no longer is something they want to continue to. When it goes from an investment they want to make versus an expense they want to cut, that's where maybe we're disconnected as an organization. And as we're trying to help organizations grow, such an important takeaway lesson there is just making sure we're aligned to the strategic vision of where the company's trying to go, and the tactics, resources, media dollars, whatever that is. You can find a way and a path to be able to measure to make sure it is there. And if it's not, it's probably not too late, but probably need to revisit it. And I think another
Exactly.
great nugget you said is, you said I take a look at this with a very fresh set of eyes all the time. I think that's another great takeaway value. I think sometimes marketing can be looked at as, what did we do last year? Well, let's change to 10% and we'll turn to next year's budget. And in
Yeah.
this dynamic changing landscape right now, that approach is going to be turned from an investment into an expense that's going to get cut.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we do ourselves a disservice as marketers, and whether you're in-house or at an agency, assuming that that year over year activity is still driving the same value as it did originally. So complacency is our enemy, and
Correct.
our ability to experiment and press on the boundaries of what was traditional marketing is so, so important. Like, it is that is part of our genius in the business suite. We get to experiment. We get to push our organizations forward. We can accelerate productivity. We make our organizations more competitive,
Right.
more highly attractive out in the market. So
yeah, no, well spoken.
thank you.
Danielle, we're here in the second month, wrapping up the second month of 2025 now, but what are you seeing as innovative tactics that you haven't deployed yet, but you see as maybe 2025 or 2026 things that you're experimenting or want to experiment with?
Oh, I wish I could not say AI, but like every marketer and really every leader today, right? We're all contemplating, piloting, employing AI tools to enhance efficiency and modernize how we deliver marketing services in our organization. And we're no different at Nixon, right? The AI journey for us is really about making AI part of how we work rather than a tool that I tack onto a specific workflow.
Sure.
So it's really important for us also in our environment to, have strong policies and procedures in place that, that act as guardrails, but don't keep us from experimentation.
Right.
I think I see AI as a, kind of a new team member that we are learning how to work alongside every day. And when I speak to my peers in legal, there's, a real wide variety of the kinds of things that people are experimenting with. But as a marketer, there's just a tremendous space for us to, sort of try a variety of new things. But I will say that, more than other industries, I think our clients in particular rely on us for up to the minute, accurate content and thought leadership on changing regulations, helping to navigate what's happening in their worlds, what's impacting them on the day to day. So for me, I think I am always looking for innovative ways to deliver really impactful and meaningful content in the ways in which our clients want it, right? The political and context and news cycle is dynamic and sometimes untrustworthy and frightening for people. So our ability to help to cut through that noise and reduce the friction for our client base is a primary motivation for us.
Yeah, no, well said. And obviously, I think from any professional services firm, that thought leadership is critical. And like you said, it helps advise the clients, keep them aware, keep them educated, but builds the credibility too. And so important in the professional services space.
Yeah.
So Danielle, you've had a great journey of growth.
Thank you.
You grew up, wanted to be a lawyer, you became a marketer, worked for some of the best, biggest marketing agencies in the world.
Yeah.
And ended up coming back to a law firm in Boston to be the chief growth officer eventually. You've had a great story of growth. Tell me, have you ever had any mentors in your life? And if so, how did they inspire you on your journey?
I love and hate a mentor question for so many reasons. I just think that mentorship can come from so many different people in so many different ways. And whether those are formal or informal. And unless I think you are in marketing, you don't really realize how much marketing is never an individual sport. It takes a team. Throughout my career journey, so much of the friendship and mentorship and motivation has come from team members, shoulder to shoulder, below, above, beyond. But I have been so fortunate to be part of some outstanding teams. And honestly, Kevin, it's an honor to lead a team today that is incredibly inspiring. I look around at the 60 plus people I have the good fortune to lead at Nixon, and I know that they are some of the most passionate and intelligent professionals that I know today. They are completely my inspiration.
Yeah, that's great.
But I'm not going to do a total give me. I've certainly had great mentors throughout the years. I think without sort of naming names, the things that they have done great for me or done really well has helped me knock down barriers that might have been holding me back, and whether those barriers were real or perceived. I think they always challenge me to kind of keep that fire burning and push beyond my own potential. They remind me never to be complacent, to, put relationships first. I think I always try to say in the morning, like, the thing I'm most grateful for are all of the outstanding relationships I have in my life. And it might sound trite, and maybe, so many people do this, but I have a personal board of directors who I can rely on to help me navigate the real, meaty, tough career decisions. And
Yes.
I do the same for them. So I think
Right.
that anybody who's listening who doesn't feed a small network of board of directors, you should. It's
Yes.
super valuable. And when you're in the weeds and you can't kind of see yourself through it, those folks are tremendously, tremendously valuable to have in your corner.
Super well said. I think, a lot of the guests, talk about mentorship, and they, like you said, whether they help you knock down barriers, whether they're real or perceived. And, I share, like, sometimes I think what mentors do is they have an opportunity to see your journey ahead of you with a telescope you haven't got a chance to put in your hands just yet. You're seeing things through a lens of binoculars, and they see the lens through a telescope.
Yeah.
And through that telescope, they help you get rid of the barriers, whether real or perceived, that your binoculars are only getting. Their binocular views, it's only getting so far, but the telescope view they see is what helps inspire you to, challenge yourself to go to the next level. And often that challenge isn't too deep. It's just really probably more the perception than it is really the reality. But without those mentors there, and without those board of directors, the old saying, you are who you hang with, choose accordingly, right? Just being around the right sort of board of directors, whether it be friends, peers, coworkers, whatever that might be, choose accordingly. And it's amazing what your journey can be when you have others out there who see something bigger and brighter for you. And as they share that, it inspires you. And whether they be real barriers and they get knocked down, or they're perceived ones, they do seem to get knocked down.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And it's such a great analogy.
Yeah. Danielle, last question. You've accomplished a lot. Where do you get your inspiration from these days?
So if I think about, just sort of media, I love masterclass. You'll find me really often on the train with my earbuds in on my commute, finding a new masterclass for some discipline. And I certainly don't just, listen to episodes that are specific to marketing or business, but
Right.
I can find inspiration from a really wide variety of perspectives. So definitely masterclass. Over the holidays, also, I recently read Hannah Gordon's book called Season of Change.
Okay.
Her book is a playbook that helps you find joy in competition and victory. She is a general counsel and a leader in, in the sports industry in this book. And, her personality and persona I have found tremendously inspiring. I think it takes a lot of resilience to be a leader, and I'm always looking for other, women leaders and men to give me the next sort of nugget to keep me going.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love it. We've been talking to Danielle Paige from Nixon Peabody. Danielle, you said a lot. You shared a lot of great things. If someone wants to reach out to you, what's the best way they can connect with you?
Sure, they can get me on LinkedIn. That's always a straight, shot, or they can feel free to email me at Nixon Peabody, and it's dpage@nixonpeabody.com.
Danielle, thank you so much for being a guest on the Growth Fire podcast. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your insights, and we wish you continued success on your journey.
Thank you so much, Kevin. It was a great conversation. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to the Growth Fire podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.